Hi Capricorn, this is a general reading for Capricorn. My name is Faith with the Fifth Dimension Tarot, and I wanted to explain to you my purpose here. I started this channel to bring some peace and happiness in the midst of grief. We all have lost people in our life. Some are much more significant of an impact upon us than others. And some are chosen to stand beside us here on earth in the 3D world. They reside in the heavenly plane, but they do stand beside us here on earth in the 3D plane. And I would like to bring forth this loved one for you so that you know who it is who has passed, who stands beside you here on earth as an extra level of love and protection. Now, this is different than a guardian angel. A guardian angel is assigned to us at birth by the divine. This would be a person that uh, that was significant in your life, that passed, could be a child, a sister, a brother, a mother, a father, aunt, best friend, etc. And so my goal right now is to bring this person forward so that you know who is standing beside you and bring you a little bit of happiness and some peace in your time of grief. So what I do is I pray and meditate, and I allow the divine and my guides to bring someone to me who would like to speak to their loved one to let them know that they are with them. And so I grab my phone and I do a talk to text in my note portion of my phone. So I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to read the notes that I have as I was intuitively being given them by the spirit guides. All right. First of all, I want to say I am so sorry for the loss of your loved one. I am getting, or I received a download that his name was Ethan, or his name started with an E sound, E something. Ethan. He was either a youngest child or your only child between you and your present husband. Ethan's or the young man's father had a child from a previous marriage, but this young man who passed was your only child between the two of you. And I know you're very thankful for the short time that you had him here on earth. And I know you've accepted this to some degree, but it also was just a huge loss as this was your only child. I have that he was about to become maybe 14 years old. He looked like he might have been more like 15 years old. He was tall. I see 7th, 8th grade, freshman year type of age bracket. He had dark hair. He wore it very short and clean cut. He was a really good kid. I mean, we all say that about our children, but this young man, he was just a really good kid. He was kind of wise beyond his years. He was very well mannered, and he respected and listened well to direction. So he was easy to deal with by his parents, by his grandparents, by his teachers. Um, I had that he wore Nike or sports apparel a lot. It might have even been a team, like, the Cubs or the Braves, or he had a favorite baseball team. He wanted to be a baseball player, but not a professional baseball player. He enjoyed it. He even collected some cards possibly, but whenever he got a new team shirt, he was very, very excited to wear it. I mean, he wore it the next day after he got it, and he told his friends he got one. He showed his friends the shirt. I mean, it was just something that brought him a lot of happiness. Were new sports teams shirts that he would get, you would buy for him, or family would buy for him. Even though his dream was to be a baseball player in college, he actually was looking more forward to being a college student. He wanted to play baseball and continue on in college with baseball, but he had a career in mind. He was very smart, smarter than most of the kids in his age bracket. He was extremely talented in math, really enjoyed science, but and I didn't get a download intuitive hit of what he wanted to be when he grew up, but I think it was something um, difficult to become, like a lawyer or a biologist, or just something that took a lot of extra intelligence that not just everyone is blessed with. So he had high hopes for himself. Growing up, he expected a lot out of himself. He held himself to a high standard all the time, and he tried to live that way, even though he was young. He knew he was an older spirit, I guess, or an older soul. He was well liked by the girls because he was tall and he was shy. So I thought that that was really cute. He was very popular in school. He was one of the teacher's pets. I mean, most teachers, every year he had a teacher that he was the teacher's pet. I mean, teachers gravitated towards him. Adults gravitated towards him. Um, he lived in a very nice neighborhood, and by that I don't mean mansions, but I see very nice brick homes, each within their own yard, each with a backyard, most of them fenced in, well manicured area or neighborhood. Um, I have that he had a freak accident in the backyard. I heard that a noise was heard by someone else, and I actually got a name. The person that heard the noise or explosion or whatever it was, his name was Mike. He might have been a neighbor, he might have been in his own backyard and heard the noise and looked and saw that this young man was hurt, and he came to his aid. Um, All right, so what exactly was he doing when this accident happened? In his mind, he was doing some sort of a science experiment. He had, and all I could picture was a wrench, um, something silver metal thick, some kind of a tool that he hooked up to a propane tank or a torch or something like that. And I don't know any more details other than that, other than something went awry when he either lit something or hooked a tool to something, and it created an impact on his body physically in the chest area. Um, he was able to communicate right after the accident occurred. So possibly this gentleman named Mike or this neighbor or whoever came to his aid was able to communicate with him and actually thought, whew, he's not hurt that bad, thank goodness. So when you were called about this accident, you were told that, I think he's going to be okay. I'm going to call 911, or I'm going to drive him to the hospital, head that way, but I think he's going to be okay. He's talking and things like that. But what you didn't know is that the injuries internal were more severe than they appeared at first. So it was kind of a shock to your system, because even though you were worried and concerned, of course, that he had had some kind of an accident, you felt a little bit of peace when the gentleman who called you told you that I was talking to him. I mean, he's hurt, but I think he's, might be okay. He might make it through this fine. So it just was not like gory, and it was just looked like a terrible situation from the very beginning. He also could have maybe had some clothing that maybe hid the true trauma to his chest or something like that, but it just wasn't viewed at first at how severe this impact on his body was. Um, I have that he lived approximately 10 more days. His stability in the hospital, it was off and it was on. You wouldn't just have one good day and one bad day. You would have 2 good days, one bad day, 3 good days, one bad day. So you really, really felt positive. You prayed, you're a spiritual person, and you just knew that God would bring him out of this. But this was not his plan. His plan was to be on earth the amount of time that he was, and to be in your life during that time, and for you to love and nurture him for that amount of time. And you did all that, and just know that this was his time, um, unfortunately, and I am so sorry for your loss. I have that when you received the news that his health was declining and was kind of going downhill, you called in everyone, the whole family. I see 3 grandparents there, um, a husband and a wife, and then a single mother or grandmother, I mean. So 3 grandparents altogether. Um, I think the single mother is your mother or the mother of the young man who has passed. Um, I just want to add this because I intuitively got this, so I felt like you needed to hear this. Um, his mother's mother, so this would be his grandmother, has not been a source of strength for you during this time. So it has made grieving even more difficult because of that. But you kind of already knew. I mean, this is a relationship that maybe I'm sorry to say that maybe she hasn't been the kind of source or source of strength that you have needed in your life. So honestly, I need you to not allow her to make you feel even more grief as a result of her inability to cope. But the divine is asking you to leave it behind you. Is exactly what he told me. You are to heal and move forward now and know that he is with you. So I would like to bring forth some initials. I made my own deck of cards that have some have letters A to Z, and I'm hoping that what comes out, which I don't have any control over, I shuffle and they fall to the ground, but I'm hoping that what comes out will encompass his first, middle, or possibly his last name. And I'm sure you heard those fall. So I am going to pick them up. I asked for 3. I see the word X. His name might have been Alex. His last name might have started with an F. This accident might have involved an axe. You can look at it that way also. But these are the letters that I brought up for your beautiful young man who has passed. AFX. All right. I also made a deck of numbers 1 through 31. I am hoping that these numbers will bring forth either this young man's birth month, death month, birth date, or death day. So I am going to shuffle these and ask the divine to please bring us some numbers for this beautiful young man, this handsome young man. For the Capricorn viewer, please bring forth. So many fell out. I'm going to go ahead and do that again. Please bring forth some numbers that are representative of this young man. Please bring forth his birth month. All right. Excuse me for disappearing, but I dropped about 10 of them. I do have, I have them backwards a little bit here. Let's see what's going on. Let me flip these around. I have received 2 numbers on the floor. I'm going to bring up possibly one more. I'm going to ask Divine, please bring us one more number that represents this young man who has passed for the Capricorn viewer. Thank you. I did see this one come up earlier, so it must have been meant to. All right, I have 7, 28, and 1. So he possibly could have been born in January, July, passed in January or July, and the 28th might be a significant reference to this young man, the number 28. It also can be representative of your address. It can be representative of something that means something to you. In other words, an example might be you might have been 28 years of age when you gave birth to him. So don't force it to fit, but these should fit and confirm some things for you. 1, 7, and 28. All right. And then I have a handful of marbles, and I use them to represent eye color. And I am going to mix them in my hand, and without looking, I am going to pick one. Okay. I have that he had brown eyes. I have that he had brown eyes, but they were kind of hazel. They weren't dark brown. They were lighter brown. And he might have had some streaks of honey within his eyes. And hazels can go, they're a light brown with a titch of blue, a titch of green, or a titch of brown in them. His had, they were light brown or true brown, and they had hints of honey in them, excuse me. And they had hints of honey in them. I apologize for my phone going off. That was very inappropriate. I am going to bring you, honestly, my favorite part of the entire reading, and that is if he were standing here next to you in the earthly plane, and he could say anything to you, what would he say to you? So before I get this beautiful message, I'm going to make sure that my phone is off now. I'm going to ask the Divine if this young man could say anything to my Capricorn viewer, what would he say? I received one, fell on my lap, and just fell on the floor, and we're going to ask for one more. Divine, there we go. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay. He got, for the thing he could say to you, if he could say something to you, what would he say? I am so much better now. So really spoken like a young man his age. I'm so much better now. All those injuries I had, they're gone. I'm in heaven and I'm great and I am so much better now. He also wants you to know that there is no such thing as death. So he is with you. He is with you everywhere. Outside, at work, in your darkest moments. So these are the two cards I got for him. I am so much better now, and there is no such thing as death. And that is true. Even though he resides in heaven, he is here beside you in the earthly plane as an extra level of love, guidance, and support. And I know that he loves you very much, or he would not have made all this effort to come through today. So I hope you enjoyed it, Capricorn. And this is Faith from the Fifth Dimension. And please, please, please subscribe. I'm just starting out, and I just want to bring healing to so many people. I would really appreciate your support. And if this didn't resonate, then please watch next week. And I can assure you, if you meditate on this channel, I will bring forth your person. That's all it takes. All I need to do is feel the energy, and the divine will lead me to your person. So until next time, God bless and love you. Bye-bye, Capricorn.